the desolate expanse of Utah's wilderness, where towering red rocks pierced the clear blue sky, a modern-day drama unfolded. It was a story of grit, determination, and the indomitable spirit of a man named Aron Ralston. At the age of 27, Aron was not just a regular guy. He was a gifted mechanical engineer with an adventurous spirit that led him to the rugged terrain of southern Utah. There, amidst the labyrinth of canyons, he found solace and adventure, scaling the sheer rock faces and pushing his limits. But on this fateful day, fate had something else in store for him. As he ventured into the remote and narrow Bluejohn Canyon, little did he know the ordeal that awaited him. The canyon was notorious for its tight passages and peculiar rock formations, but Aron, with his expertise and love for the sport, felt right at home. However, fate had a cruel twist in store. While navigating through the treacherous terrain, disaster struck. Aron slipped and fell, finding himself trapped at the bottom of a narrow crevice, and as if that wasn't enough, a massive boulder shifted, sealing his fate. Aron was pinned against the canyon wall with his right arm crushed beneath the weight of the boulder. The pain was excruciating, but it was only the beginning of his torment. The full realization of his dire situation dawned on him. He was all alone in a place where no one would find him for days, perhaps even weeks. Time ticked by agonizingly slow, and Aron's hope began to dwindle. But amidst the despair, a flicker of determination ignited within him. As a seasoned climber, he knew that panic wouldn't help. Instead, he needed to summon every bit of his strength and ingenuity to survive. With a deep breath, he forced himself to calm down and assess his situation. His first priority? Water. It was essential to keep hydrated and minimize the swelling of his trapped arm. But how there wasn't a drop of water in sight. Then he spotted a small pool of water trickling down the canyon wall. With great effort, he managed to crawl towards it, lapping up the precious liquid. Each gulp brought a sense of relief, but it wasn't enough. He needed more. As the scorching sun beat down on him, burning his skin and draining his energy, Aron's resolve only grew stronger. He refused to be a victim of fate. Using the flat of his back and the small ledge on which he rested, he began to slowly pry himself up. Inch by agonizing inch, he moved, driven by an unwavering determination to escape his prison of stone. He had found a small crevice above the boulder. With renewed vigor, he managed to wedge his body into the opening, creating a small gap. The air was thin and dusty, but it was a lifeline to freedom. With every fiber of his being, he pushed the boulder up and out of the crevice. It was the last thing he remembered before darkness consumed him. When Aron was finally discovered, he was rushed to the hospital where doctors worked tirelessly to reattach his arm. But despite the trauma and the excruciating ordeal, Aron survived. His story became a beacon of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides within us all. Today, Aron Ralston's name echoes in the annals of adventure and survival. He has written several books and given numerous talks, inspiring countless people around the world. His story is a reminder that when all hope seems lost, the will to live can propel us to unimaginable feats of strength and resilience. It's a story that continues to echo, reminding us that within each of us lies a reservoir of strength waiting to be tapped. In the heart of Utah's canyonlands, nestled between the Green and Colorado rivers, lies a place known as Bluejohn Canyon. This secluded spot holds a tale of survival, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of a man named Aron Ralston. In October 2003, the quiet solitude of this desert canyon was shattered by the presence of a young mountain climber, who would soon find himself trapped beneath a massive boulder, his right arm pinned against the canyon wall. What followed was a fight for survival that would test the limits of human endurance. It all started with a simple plan. Aron, a seasoned outdoor enthusiast, had set out on a solo trip. He wanted to explore a remote area of Bluejohn Canyon, accessible only by a treacherous path known as the corridor. Despite its difficulty, Aron was undeterred. With the confidence of an experienced climber, he embarked on the challenging hike, eager to discover the hidden gems of this uncharted territory. As he made his way through the rugged terrain, the narrow passageway known as the corridor did not disappoint. The atmosphere was both humbling and inspiring, reminding him of the immense power of nature that surrounded him. After several hours of careful navigation, Aron came across a section where the canyon floor widened slightly, revealing a small alcove. Here he decided to take a break, catch his breath, and admire the unique beauty that lay before him. Little did he know that this moment of respite would soon turn into a nightmare. As he settled down on a nearby rock, his eyes were drawn to a large boulder that rested precariously on the edge of the alcove. It was wedged in such a way that its weight was evenly distributed, giving it the illusion of stability. Intrigued by its placement, Aron felt compelled to investigate further. With a mix of curiosity and caution, he approached the boulder, unaware of the danger that lurked beneath its massive bulk. As he moved closer, the ground beneath him shifted slightly, causing the boulder to roll forward. In a split second, the weight of the rock shifted, and the boulder began to fall. Trapped and helpless, Aron instinctively threw his arms out in a vain attempt to brace for the impact. The boulder landed on his right arm, pinning it against the canyon wall, trapping him in an instant. With a sickening crunch of bone, blood gushing, and a searing pain that shot through his entire body, Aron's worst fears were confirmed. His arm was trapped under the weight of the boulder, making any attempt to free himself seem like an impossible task. As the realization of his dire situation sunk in, panic threatened to consume him. Adrenaline surged through his veins, and he struggled frantically to move the boulder. But no matter how hard he pushed, pulled, or strained, the rock monolith remained firmly lodged against the narrow passageway, leaving him trapped and isolated. The weight of the boulder was immense, pressing against his arm with unrelenting force. Each movement sent jolts of excruciating pain through his body, and the trapped muscles screamed in protest. But even in the face of such overwhelming odds, Aron refused to give in to despair. With a deep breath, he forced himself to calm down, knowing that panic wouldn't help his situation. The initial shock wore off, leaving behind a numbing pain that made it difficult for Aron to think clearly. But he knew he needed to stay focused and come up with a solution quickly. Looking around frantically, he noticed a small, dull pocket knife that he kept in his backpack. It was meant for everyday tasks, not for such an emergency. But it was all he had. Hope flickered within him. He reached for the knife and examined it closely. Its blade was worn and not particularly sharp, but perhaps it would be enough. He took stock of his supplies. He still had a bit of water and some granola bars, enough to sustain him for a few days. But the real problem was the lack of water. Without fluids, his body would become dehydrated, making his ordeal even more grueling. Struggling to conserve his energy, Aron began to ration his water, forcing himself to drink only small amounts at a time. It was a difficult task, but he was determined to make it last. Days turned into nights, and the temperature in the canyon began to drop. You're trapped and alone, with limited supplies, and no immediate help on the way. The weight of the boulder on your arm causes excruciating pain, and the constant struggle to free yourself becomes both physical and mental torture. The isolation is unbearable, and the haunting silence of the canyon amplifies your fear and desperation. Panic starts to set in, threatening to overwhelm you, but you refuse to give in. You try to remain calm, knowing that panic won't help your situation. Time seems to slow down as you assess your surroundings, desperately searching for a way out. You notice a dull knife in your backpack, a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak situation. With shaking hands, you reach for it, realizing that this unassuming tool might be your only chance at freedom. The pain intensifies as you make cuts in the rope, but you push through it, fueled by the belief that you might just be able to free yourself. Rationing your supplies, you force yourself to drink only small amounts of water, trying to make it last as long as possible. The days turn into nights, and the temperature drops, making the ordeal even more challenging. Sleepless and exposed to the elements, you start to hallucinate, questioning your sanity as the line between reality and fantasy blurs. On the fourth day, your strength fades, and hope begins to dwindle. You realize that you might have to take drastic measures. The thought of amputating your trapped arm crosses your mind, a horrifying and unthinkable solution to an impossible situation. But faced with the prospect of certain death or this agonizing choice, you are forced to confront the unthinkable. He knew his chances of rescue were slim. If he didn't take drastic action, the only remaining option was to amputate his trapped arm, and so began the harrowing journey of self-rescue. Summoning every ounce of courage and strength, Aron began the gruesome process of amputating his right arm, It was a painful and slow process, taking over an hour. He had to break his bones first, then cut through the tissue, nerves, and blood vessels. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, his arm was free from the boulder. Overcome with exhaustion and shock, Aron managed to pull himself out of the canyon. It was a journey of immense physical and mental fortitude, as he traversed the rugged terrain with only one hand. Hours later, after suffering from dehydration and fatigue, he finally encountered two other hikers who were stunned to see him and recounted his horrific story. Rescue teams were called and Aron was airlifted to a hospital where he received medical attention. Miraculously, he survived. After recovering physically, Aron's life changed forever. He shared his incredible story of survival and will with the world, becoming a renowned motivational speaker. Instead of succumbing to his disability, he chose to live his life with even greater passion than before. He returned to mountain climbing, using a prosthetic limb, and conquered new heights. He married and had a child, facing every challenge that came his way with unwavering determination. Aron Ralston's story is not just a tale of a horrific accident and an unbelievable escape. It is a testament to the power of the human spirit and its ability to overcome the most difficult circumstances. It is a reminder that even in the darkest moments, willpower and determination can lead us to the light. Aron didn't just lose an arm, he discovered an inner strength he never knew he possessed. And he has inspired millions around the world with his story of survival and unwavering perseverance. His story will remain etched in memory as a symbol of hope and resilience in the face of the impossible. If you enjoyed this gripping tale of survival, I invite you to watch another video about a man who spent 7 days under the rubble and survived. You will be amazed by the sheer will to live that this individual displayed in the face of unimaginable adversity. So click here to continue exploring stories of resilience and human strength. Thank you for watching.